Hi, my honors class. Today is November 11th, so we're saluting the veterans in honor of Armistice Day that happened after World War I. So there's a great history of why today is the day. I am glad to speak to you today. I did open up a Zoom class, but I realized how foolish that was to do this on a holiday. I do not blame anyone who needed to present today not showing up. What was I thinking, right? What was I thinking? I started my day in the Veterans Cemetery in Westport and then continued to Fall River, came back to the class. We'll go again this afternoon to another ceremony. So I was trying to get it all in. But listen, this today was not the only day to complete your presentations. We will have 3 more Zooms together after Thanksgiving, so we have plenty of time. And we are a small class and we work together. We have each other's backs, so all is good. The very next assignment, though, is the interview assignment, something I've only talked about so lightly. I never really gave you any concrete information on. The assignment it is meant to be lighthearted, but it doesn't have to be. It could be very serious, but it is pass fail. This is a moot point in this class anyway, because every time someone does a presentation, it's 100, it's an A. But I always wanted to take that feeling that you now are responsible for somebody else for you to get a good grade. It doesn't work like that. Your job is to find somebody who you feel you could build some sort of rapport with that would be willing to be interviewed by you. Now, you know what an interview is. We see many examples of them on podcasts. We listen to them, or on television, radio shows. I mean, we've been bombarded by interviews, but now this is your time. So you find a person. I said in my handout, reliable, because that is important too. And someone you think, well, okay, we'll do this. And then you're going to do a pre-interview with that person to find out what are you going to interview the person about, right? And it's mostly human interest type things. It's not like 60 minutes ambushing somebody like your landlord because he hasn't fixed the plumbing. It's not like that kind of interview. It's human interest. It's really meant to be informative, maybe even entertaining. So you could interview someone in your community if it's safe to do so, with a mask if the distance. But if it's someone in your family that you feel COVID available for, maybe it's a family member, maybe it's your aunt, uncle, grandmother, maybe it's somebody who you haven't talked to that much, like a cousin, and you're going to see this person over Thanksgiving, and you say, gee, I'd like to know what you've been up to. May I interview you about what you've been doing for the last couple of years? And that's when you start to think, okay, I found my person, I have a reasonable idea of what the topic or the theme is going to be, and now the questions, right? So you always think in terms of the interrogatives, the who's, the what's, the where's, the why's. And on the handout, you will see that questions are divided into 4 categories. Open questions, where you'd ask a person a question and there's infinite amount of information that could come from the person. A closed question, which would be more of a declarative statement, like you say, so your name is, and then you say it. You went to school where, it's that kind of thing. And then, probing questions, more whys, like, well, why'd you do that? Why'd you do this? And when you're preparing for your interview, at least this is the way I do it, I usually come up with about 10 questions that would follow a natural line of curiosity. And then as I'm asking my questions, I'm listening the whole time. And you might discover that the questions you have on your paper are not what you're going to ask at all. You're going to go into a different direction depending on the answers you receive. So it can be a lot of fun to do to these interviews. I do them only with the honors class because it's an exercise in listening, and most students who do it find it to be fun if they find the right person. So now, when are we going to do this, right? Well, the next time we're on Zoom is December 2nd. So that's the first Thursday after Thanksgiving. So 11 o'clock. If you have a person who would be willing to come on Zoom with you, you could send that person our link address. Or they could be in the room with you if it's a close family member and it's safe to do so. And you could conduct the interview right there on camera, live. I've had many students do this last semester in the honors class. In fact, most of them did. And they had the children, they had the mother, they had the neighbor. And one young woman who wanted to go into pharmacy, she went into the pharmacy that she always goes to, and she interviewed behind the scenes. She interviewed her pharmacist live on our class. It was kind of fun. But there's another way. Half the class did do that, but the other half, they pre-recorded our interview, and then they brought it into the course site on a course site tool called VoiceThread, which is pretty easy to understand how you download that in. And then if you have your interview ready by December 2nd, the pre-recorded, we can watch it together on the Zoom, and that's fun too. The pre-recorded video might make a lot more sense. And especially with Thanksgiving, you might have a family member or somebody that you don't usually see, and you do see them over the holiday. So you think, could I interview you? And you put it on your camera phone or whatever you do, and then you bring it into class. You either bring it into class live, put it on that VoiceThread. But if you could do it by December 2nd, that would be great. But if not, by the end of that week, have it up there, and then we'll get to see it eventually. But don't shy away from this assignment, because I find this that most students say, I have to interview someone. Isn't that like a little invasive? But we interview people all the time without even realizing it. We're always asking questions, right? I put up 2 videos that I thought would be pretty good, like connecting to this assignment. And one is about the art of asking questions. You'll see. And both YouTube videos or TED Talk videos are not discussion boards. They're just really for you to watch, for you to get a feeling of asking questions and feeling comfortable doing that role. But your job is to ask the questions. So you're guiding the information. You will probably do much less talking than the person answering the questions. Now, if you want to do it television style, this is how you would do it. You would, the cameras would be rolling, and you would look at the TV camera, and you'd say, thank you for coming to our show today. This is Joyce's Jungle. Our guest today is Lauren Fernandez. Lauren is my daughter. I'm going to ask her about her childhood. Lauren, thank you for coming today. So if you want to do it that way, you could have a television show title. You could look at the camera as if you're talking to, TV land. And then at the end of your presentation, you thank your guest, look back at the camera, and thank everyone for listening. But you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that because that's still fun. See, originally this assignment pre-COVID was done in the television studio. That's why I call it the broadcast interview. And it would be with 3 cameras looking at you in the television studio, and you were to create a television segment for some show, right? So we had fun with it, but you can do it any way you want to do it. All right, so that's December 2nd. I hope you have something in mind by then. Now, the next week when we meet on Zoom, December 9th, it is going to be for our final presentation called the Personal Experience Brief Opinion. And it's exactly as it sounds. It's a 2 to 5 minute presentation where you're going to be telling us a narrative perhaps about something that's happened in your life, maybe something funny, something embarrassing, something life-changing, a learning lesson that you want to share with your newfound friends, or a personal memoir, something that happened a long time ago that was special, sacred, sentimental to you. Or if you don't want to do a personal speech, then do a brief opinion. And a brief opinion is like a pet peeve speech or a sound-off speech where you're going to present to the audience something that you are thinking about, share your point of view. Usually it's very strong language. So either one, just one more speech. So that's December 9th. Oh, going back to the interview. I just thought about it when I said personal memoir. Another good subject to interview is somebody in your family that's 40 years older than you, right? 2 generations away. And ask them questions about high school. I have found those presentations to be so delightful. I asked my mother about high school for an interview once, and it was such a great interview. I did a lot of interviewing of my mother as she got older. I just wanted it for the family history. But one on high school, like what was she like in high school? Did she ever get in trouble in high school? What was her favorite subjects? Did she go to the prom? Was there a prom? What were dating expectations back then? What kind of classes did she enjoy? You will see, and it doesn't have to be 40 years, but you will see that person light up. many times this is a very important moment for that person to go back and reminisce. And they're so charmed and flattered that you care about those questions, right? And don't forget, on those questions, make sure that your person knows that this is not for a broadcast interview. We're not displaying this on any social media site, but it is going to be seen by others in our class. All right, so you have the interview, you have the personal experience or brief opinion speech, and then on the 16th, that's a makeup class, just like today was going to be, which is fine. Students didn't come today. I'm just saying, but I like to have those days. I'm still happy that I did it, just in case, right? But on the 16th, if you've missed any one of those, you can make it up on that Zoom. So that's what I mean by 3 more Zooms. 2 required, 1 not required at the end. Whew. Okay, I think I talked enough. I know I've talked enough. I have right up here, I have, what do I have right up here? Let's see. I have our course site opened. Moving you around. Let's see over here. Yes, this is the handout, The Art of Asking Questions, the basic interview. And please take a moment, of course you will, to read through pretty much what I just said, you know, how you might start to organize it and that sort of thing is there for you. And then the other thing are those 2 next week's discussion board is on why are you so special, which is a very cool comment, isn't it? Because we know where else. Look at this. I can never get back. I'm just really lame when it comes to technology. But here we are. All right. And these 2 right here, The Art of Asking Questions. This is a very cool video. Oh, this isn't cool. Shen Yu has been around for a long time, hasn't Shen Yu? But you will watch that, and that could be inspiring to you and helpful. We're not watching it now. And then the other one is Ask Better Questions to Build Better Connections by Amber Wright. And I think you're going to enjoy her. I enjoyed her from the very, very beginning. I pick videos that connect to our student learning outcomes and that I think you might like the content and the people. She's very engaging. Yeah, see, there she goes. Yeah.
I was once lost in the land of good with my 9-year-old.
Yeah, there she is. Okay, everyone, more than time to go. I think I've taken way too much of your time. I hope you're having a good day today, and I'll see you after Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving.